Welcome to the Reality of Herbal Therapy Podcast, episode 73, Your Interconnected Head. So yesterday, my daughter called Lynn and was asking her some questions. Her baby was really not comfortable. He's so sad. And you always feel bad when your grandkids are not happy. And so he's teething. He's 4 months old. Yeah, 4 months old. Time flies when you're having fun, huh? So he's 4 months old and he's teething. And my daughter was just kind of like at her wit's end. She didn't know what to do for him. She tried all sorts of things and trying to help him. And so Lynn had suggested treating his ears. So the way we treat ears and with a baby, basically you just have to use the oil part, but for someone older, to treat ears. So like anytime you have any pressure in your ears, or pain or discomfort in your ears, you can do this. And Lynn's always had problems with her ears, and she does it quite often. So she would pour I can't remember what it was, hydrogen peroxide. So you get hydrogen peroxide and pour that into your ear. And you just drop get a little, like a capful. And if you're sensitive to cold, you can put it on a spoon and kind of warm it up or something so that when you pour it into your ear, it doesn't, especially if it's sore or anything like that. So you just pour, and it's like less than a teaspoon, but you want to fill up your ear canal with that hydrogen peroxide and let it sit there for a while. And it's going to bubble. It'll bubble a lot, especially if there's infection or a lot of earwax in there. The nice thing about using the peroxide is it softens up earwax, but hydrogen peroxide also draws out infection. So if you have infection in your ear or anything like that, it will draw out the infection and into the liquid. So you put the hydrogen peroxide in one ear, and lay on it. So you're laying on your head, have the peroxide in your ear, pointing up, and let it sit for a while, and then put a rag over top of it, and then you turn over and pour peroxide into the other ear. Now the thing about peroxide is it's going to strip a whole lot of stuff, like all of the earwax and everything essential out of your ears. So after you do the other ear, and let that bubble for a few minutes, put a towel or something there and turn your head over and let that drain. And then you put a good ear oil in your ear. And so that's what my daughter did, was she put ear oil in my grandson's ear. And you want something that's got garlic, mullein, golden seal, if you can find it. Those are always really good. And if you can't find ear oil, it's really easy to make. So just get some olive oil and some garlic out of your kitchen. Mullein grows pretty much all over the place, but if you can't find it, you can just get a little bit at your health food store and get a little tiny bottle. We like using 1 ounce dropper bottles, and that's usually what ear oil comes in. And so you just cut your garlic into like if it's a clove of garlic, cut it into 2 or 3 pieces, stick it in the bottle, put the mullein in there, and basically you just leave it for 4 or 5 days, and that'll last you for about 6 months. And if you have access to golden seal, either from your health food store or whatever, put a little bit of that in there and just let it set in the olive oil and kind of let it steep for 2 or 3 days before you use it. And doing that can make a huge difference in your ears. And so with my grandson, a couple hours after my daughter treated his ears, he was feeling a lot better. So the thing about treating the ears is that everything in your head is connected through your sinuses. So through your nose, it goes up into the sinuses, which then drain down into your throat. Your ears drain into your throat. Everything is interconnected. So whenever allergies or any upper respiratory thing comes along, Lynn always talks about you want to treat everything. Because if you only treat one ear, it's going to chase it down. Whatever it is going to drop down into your throat. And when it drops down into your throat, it could go into your other ear or up into your sinuses. And so Dr. James is always talking about, you don't want to be doing the round and round with it. So whenever you have something going on, he would always say, just treat everything, the ears, the nose, and the throat, because you don't want to give whatever it is you're chasing around. You don't want to give it a place to hide. You want to get rid of it. So treating the ears. So to treat the nose, what we always would suggest is a good herbal salve, something like Comfrey Gold salve. And if you don't have that, marshmallow salve will work also. But get a Q-tip. And there's a lot of other places you can get salves that are really good too. But so you get a Q-tip and get a bit of salve on it. And then you swab the inside of your nose. And, depending on how brave you are and how deep you can put it. For me, it hurts and I hate it. So, when it comes down to swabbing my nose, I don't do it very often. But I like knowing that I have it. And Lynn will do it quite often as she needs it. But it's swabbing your nose. Also basically gives moisture. If you have a runny nose or dripping from your nose, that actually means that your sinuses are trying to lubricate it. So swabbing your nose actually makes a huge difference with runny nose or anything like that, because your body's trying to lubricate it, and so swabbing the nose will help with that. And if you can, so quite often when I swab my nose, I do it at night, because then you swab your nose and you lay down, because as an herbal salve, it's basically an herbal salve is olive oil that has the herbs in it, and then beeswax. So the beeswax will basically slowly melt, and then you've got that olive oil to coat the inside of your nose. So like doing the oil in your ears, that salve on your nose will help, and it goes to coat, and then the herbs are there, and they can be absorbed in through your mucuses and stuff, through your nose or whatever, and to help take care of whatever issue you've got going on. So, and for throat, a very common thing that we like to do is an herbal tea, especially something with sage in it, because the way the vitamins and the things in sage will instantly, as you drink it, will coat will coat along your throat, and it helps with inflammation and soreness or anything like that. So good herbal tea. And then, of course, to take herbs. Hay as infection are always really important. If you have anything with the ears, the nose, or the throat, hay as will help with that. Because basically hay as gives your body the nutrients it needs to make your upper respiratory areas, to give it what it needs to be healthy, so that it can overcome whatever is bothering it. So that's kind of the things I wanted to talk about: ear, nose, and throat. Don't go around, because if you just treat one, if you just treat your ear and it goes to your throat, then you're going to treat your throat, and then it's going to go up into your sinuses in your nose, and then it'll chase it to your ear. So do all three, if you're treating one, treat all three. That's Lynn's always saying, treat all three. You don't want to be chasing it. You want to grab it and stop it, and not let it get too far. Another herb to take is herbal formula to take is Fection. If you've got infection, or if you think you might have an infection, or even if it's not infected, but you're wanting to take something to prevent it from becoming infected. So like Dr. James says, asthma is a result of having too much drainage from your sinuses going down into your lungs, and it puts a lot of pressure on your lungs, and it builds up a lot of stuff, and then you have a hard time with your lungs, and that's one of the causes of asthma. So if your body is dealing with allergies, and you have a whole lot of mucus and things going on, and you just ignore it and just let it go, there's a good chance that it can turn into an infection, especially in the sinuses and stuff. because the reason we have allergies, the itchy eyes, the runny nose and everything, is there is a toxin, that something to our body that is toxic. So whether it's a pollen or something like that, and your body wants to get rid of it. It's doing all that it can to get rid of it. If that toxin builds up and your body can't get rid of it and it gets overwhelmed, that's where an infection starts, whether it's a sinus infection, ear infection, things like that, because we're breathing in those toxins and stuff. So Fection is really helpful to help build up your system. So like if you have allergies that go on for a long time, taking just 1 or 2 Fection along with the Hayaz really helps to kick it up, because then not only is your body has what it needs to deal with the upper respiratory issue, but it also has what it needs to help clear out those toxins and get rid of that buildup inside. I hope this was really helpful. If you have any questions, let me know, and we will talk to you later. It is not the intent of professional herbal instruction or any persons associated therewith to diagnose or prescribe. The intent is only to offer herbal information for your consideration. In the event you use this information without your doctor's approval, you are prescribing for yourself, which is your God-given right. But professional herbal instruction or any persons associated herewith assume no responsibility. The claims and statements made on this podcast have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.